I was really excited to make this video because this is going to be the first conspiracy video on my channel, and it's a really interesting one. It's called The Conspiracy of Zuma. What exactly is Zuma? Well, if you're into science and space, then this is going to be right up your street. So Zuma is a secret payload which was contracted by some company in the USA. We know that because it was registered as USA 280, so it could have been one of the 13 defense government organizations in America which put this into place. So Zuma and the disappearance of Zuma. Zuma was part of the Falcon 9. It was a payload at the top, and Falcon 9 is owned by SpaceX, which is owned by Elon Musk, the guy that makes the really fancy cars and the really fancy futuristic inventions. Self-driving cars, Hyperloop, the Boring Company. I've probably missed out 100 things that he does, but it's pretty impressive. So what happened on the live stream is everyone was watching and it went as normal. SpaceX likes to demonstrate their live streams and likes to show the space launches, even if they are a success or a failure. So the first stage was an absolute success. It went off and people were watching. The second stage was then cut because it is a secretive mission, so we can't exactly know what's gonna happen. Now here's the funny thing. On stage 2, I believe, of the launch of it going into orbit and so forth, Zuma disappears. Completely gone. And no one knows what's happened to Zuma, but both companies that are involved, not the contractor because we don't know who the contractor is. So the two other things and factors involved in this is SpaceX and Northrop Grumman. I hope I say it right. Both of them were involved. The adapter was Northrop Grumman and SpaceX was the main beastie rocket, the Falcon 9. So both companies said that it was a success and they're not taking any accountability for it being not a success, which then brings a lot of questions up. Where has it gone? People are saying it isn't a success. Some news reporters, e.g. ABC News and the Wall Street Journal and Daily Mail all report that it fell into the ocean, it broke up, something didn't happen, it just disappeared. But the interesting thing is when it was addressed at the Pentagon by officials, they said to refer to SpaceX.
Earlier this week, SpaceX launched the Zuma, a classified satellite payload. Does the Pentagon consider the mission a success or a failure, both Dana and General, given its classified payload?
I would have to refer you to SpaceX, who conducted the launch.
No, that's not good enough. I'm sorry. This is a $1 billion or so satellite. Mm-hmm. It's been 4 days. Was it a success or a failure? And what's the fate of the satellite?
Again, I would have to refer you to them, and that's the answer.
But it's not
General,
a SpaceX satellite.
I mean, is the satellite,
I'm with Dana. We're not going to be able to give you any more information, so.
Why can't you do that? This is accountability is one of your keystones here.
Absolutely.
General, Secretary Mattis said this repeatedly. I'm asking you from an accountability standpoint, this thing went bump in the night somewhere and nobody knows what happened to it. Can you give us a sense of whether you consider it a failure or a success as a mission?
Again, I'd have to tell you I'd have to refer you to SpaceX, which actually launched the satellite.
But you're the government, you paid for it, you're the overseers, and you're asking us to go to the company who might have been partially responsible for the problem. I mean, that doesn't make any sense, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I understand, and given the classified nature of all of this, but again, that's the answer.
Diana White, that was it. Reef kind of made the question, like, she started kind of laughing and like, you're gonna have to refer to SpaceX for this. But looking on SpaceX's websites and having some help and some sources to point me in these directions, I saw that SpaceX hasn't cancelled any of their other flights or their other missions this year, which are very soon, I believe. And they're using exactly the same rocket which supposedly failed. So why would they not postpone what exactly happened if it was a complete failure. Why would Elon Musk allow his next projects, which are very, very important, being as which is attaching one of his Tesla cars to the rocket and putting it into orbit, why would he not postpone what happened? Because back last year, when one of his rockets failed, it was broadcasted, everyone knew about it, and he postponed things and went back to the drawing board and so forth. But this time, he's pretty confident that it was a success. So both companies say it was a success. So where exactly is Zuma, and what is Zuma? Being as which it's registered by USA, a contractor in USA, it may be a defense vehicle, it may be a stealth vehicle, it may be a laser, it may be a surveillance. These are all of the things it may be. Because of the recent threats from North Korea and so forth, we can tie these both together slightly as maybe it being a surveillance over North Korea, over the oceans, being up there in the orbit and basically surveilling. I just want it to be a laser, basically. I want it to be a big laser, a huge laser. Or some technology we haven't seen yet. I'm really excited, and I don't know what it could be, because there is a lot of things that aren't said. Obviously, it is a government project thing, whatever it is, but with surveillance and so forth, they are very kind of open about their surveillance and their crafts that are used for taking pictures and so forth, and they're very open with that. So why is this such a secret? And then the idea of Misty comes into play. The mission of Misty, a craft which is very stealthy, which is very hard to see, which could kind of correlate with all the secrecy behind this mission. So that is what I have so far. Any updates I will post below. But what exactly do you think Zuma is? What do you think the payload is? Do you think it's in the ocean, or do you think it's orbiting in space as we speak? Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.